So Raising Kanan is back once again, and it's going to be a huge build-up episode to what we see in episode 8, but it doesn't necessarily mean this week is going to be a quiet episode. This is definitely going to build up a lot of story and plots for a few characters especially. This war between Raquel and Unique is heating up, and Unique seems to have the upper hand at this moment in time, but will Raquel be able to hit back and get revenge, especially for Scrappy? There's a storyline with Kanan and Davina, Jukebox and Nicole, Detective Howard and his bone marrow transplant, so there's a lot that's going to be going down in episode 7, so we're going to dissect all the potential storylines along with the synopsis for episode 7, but of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But let's start with the synopsis for episode 7, and then we're going to run through all the potential storylines. So the synopsis reads, Kanan and Marvin's side hustle goes awry, Rack seeks revenge for the attack on Scrappy, and Jukebox suffers a devastating blow. And the first thing I want to talk about is Rack seeking revenge on the attack on Scrappy, and the key word here is attack. They didn't say the death of Scrappy, they said the attack on Scrappy, and to me it just confirms what we've been saying all week long, which is Scrappy is definitely alive. I think they will clear this up in a conversation or two, or maybe we'll see Rack protecting him, but I definitely see them clearing this up in the next episode. Now Rack will definitely be on a revenge mission for Scrappy as well, because this was one of our most trusted soldiers. She knows that she messed up, because she effectively put him in danger, putting him in this position. So we're going to see Raquel protecting Scrappy, along with trying to get revenge for Scrappy as well. Something that Lulu is going to be on a mission to do as well, because he's probably going to be after Worrell, who we saw at the showcase, who was sent to kill Lulu with Scrappy. I trust Lulu to get the job done because that's what he does. He gets shit done, and this is just going to add further fuel to the war and the bad blood between Unique and Raquel. And over the week we spoke about Unique and Raquel's next move, so I'm not going to dive too deep into it in this video. I'm going to leave the link to these two videos down below in the description and in the comment section, but I fully expect Unique to make another move on Lulu, especially after what we saw in episode 6, with Unique planting the seed in Lulu's mind about Raquel's leadership and what we're going to see Lulu do if he does get revenge on Scrappy and kills Worrell, which is Unique's boy. So let's see what Unique's next move is, and let's see what Raquel's next move is in the coming episode, because Raquel will definitely need to do something. In episode 6 we saw Raquel asking Julia to introduce her to her cousin, and who that could be hopefully we find out soon. But let's talk about the next part of the synopsis, which is Jukebox suffers a devastating blow, and we can only assume her devastating blow is going to be with Nicole. Nicole smoking this mix of crack and weed is definitely going to be her downfall, just like it was for Mel and Wanda for a long time in Snowfall. I can definitely see Nicole turning into a drug addict in the next episode, or even worse, suffering an overdose. Jukebox is going to suffer a devastating blow, and we've spoken about how Davina's death will change Kanan, but how would the death of Nicole change Jukebox if she does suffer an overdose and die? This one's going to hit Jukebox hard, because this is Jukebox getaway from Queens. Being with Nicole allows her to become Laverne and not Jukebox, so something happening to Nicole would definitely be a devastating blow, and even more so if it was the result of something that she bought from Kanan and Marvin's drug business that they've been setting up. And you could just imagine how devastated Jukebox would be if she found out that the crack and weed that turned Nicole into a drug addict or pushed her into suffering an overdose came from Marvin and Kanan, and this is going to cause even further problems in the relationship between Marvin and Jukebox, because we know they don't exactly see eye to eye. And her relationship with Kanan, they're close as anything. They fought and made up in the last episode, but this could be the first real test in their relationship, and something that could cause a crack in the relationship going forward. Something that Jukebox would probably never forgive Kanan and Marvin for if something does happen to Nicole as a result of their business and their product that they're selling. So the devastating blow, I definitely think that's Nicole. But coming to Kanan, I wonder if he's going to stay the same old naive Kanan that we've been seeing all season long, because he must have realized that Scrappy wasn't the one who gave up the stash house, especially when he saw him being dropped on the doorstep, battered and bruised. It was either Scrappy or Davina, and well, he would have got his answer about Scrappy now. Hopefully we see him confront Davina about the stash house, but then again he's just way too sprung up on Davina, so I think it's going to take Davina betraying him at least one more time before he actually realizes that she's not to be trusted, and for him to realize that he needs to get rid of her. So I do think Kanan and Davina's storyline will drag on a little longer than Jukebox and Nicole's. Jukebox will suffer a devastating blow in the next episode, and Kanan will probably suffer his towards the end of the season. But we're going to stay with Kanan because there's also an issue with Famous. The lyrics in Famous's rap at the showcase was about Kanan's life. You saw him flip from enjoyment to disbelief that Kanan was rapping about his life, rapping about something that he's never seen, rapping about something that he's never been through. He mentioned the stash house that was robbed, Buck 20's death, D-Wiz's death, and the fact that Kanan had this look. I would be really surprised if he didn't confront Famous, so this is something I definitely expect to see in episode 7, and it could even be the start of a bit of beef between the two, but just like Jukebox and Kanan, they'll probably make up later on in the season. Some have predicted Kanan to kill Famous for what he did, but I don't think so. It's just way too early for Famous to die. They're setting him up to be involved with the Thomas organization a lot more in season 2, so Famous is definitely not dying anytime soon in my opinion, but this is definitely a storyline I think we'll see. And staying with Kanan again, Kanan and Marvin Marvin's side hustle going wrong is a huge part of the synopsis for episode 7, and are we really surprised that something Marvin's involved in is gonna go wrong again? He makes mistakes time after time, episode after episode, and it's something we're used to seeing, and it's something that Raquel is also used to seeing now. Kanan used the teachings of Symphony about how the folks used to fill up and dash at this gas station, and he spoke to Marvin about how this is the perfect spot to sell their product at a much higher price, and this is where I expect things to go wrong. We've already seen a small teaser of it going wrong in the trailer for episode 7, and just rewinding it back to episode 5, we saw Raquel teaching Kanan how to make crack, and now that Kanan knows how to make crack, I really wouldn't be surprised to see him and Marvin using this knowledge and setting up their business, especially because Marvin wants to prove his worth to the Thomas family with what he can do, what he's capable of. But this is just going to end all badly for the two. It's going to cause more issues between Marvin and Raquel because she's warned him before to stay away from Kanan after what happened at the stash house. Marvin said in the trailer that Raquel can't find out what they've been up to after shit started to go sideways, but we know Raquel is going to find out, and it's just going to cause a lot more beef between the two and with Lulu as well. Lulu and Marvin's relationship isn't the best. We've seen some sly digs that Lulu has been making towards Marvin over the season, telling him that he's always fucking up, and we even saw them getting into this little fight. So the relationship between Lulu and Marvin is definitely coming to a crossroad, and I really do want Raquel and Lulu to start trusting Marvin a little more, but he hasn't given them a reason to do so yet. But let's see how this relationship develops between the three of them, not just in episode 7, but over the course of the last few episodes of the first season, because going into season 2, we know it's going to be a lot more complicated. Next season there's going to be Jukebox's mom who's going to be introduced, and Marvin who's going to be seeing a therapist to try and control his anger. So with the introduction of Jukebox's mom, this is going to complicate things a lot more for Marvin. But let's move on and talk about Detective Howard, because he wasn't doing so well in the last episode. He looked unwell, tired, because time is running out for him because of his cancer. But will we see him approaching Raquel and telling him about his illness? At some point he's going to have to, because he needs Raquel's permission to get this bone marrow transplant from Kanan. But before all of that happens, Kanan needs to find out that his real father is Detective Howard and not DEFCON. But could we see a scenario where Raquel tells Kanan that it would be beneficial if he gave the bone marrow transplant to Howard, because then you have a cop who owes you for saving his life, and one of the teachings of the 48 laws of power is you have to make allies on all levels. That includes cops too. But this situation is so complicated, and I think it's going to drag into season 2 in my opinion. But that's just a rundown of episode 7 synopsis and what we can expect with the revenge of Scrappy, Kanan and Marvin's business going sideways, and Jukebox's devastating blow. And hopefully Kanan isn't as naive as he's been all season long with Davina in episode 7, and I am interested to see how he confronts Famous after the showcase, if he does confront him, and this whole situation that starts to play out with Detective Howard. But as I said, I think this is something that's going to drag into season 2 with Kanan, Raquel and Detective Howard. This situation with Unique and Lulu is definitely not over, so let's see what Unique's next move is, and let's see what Raquel's next move is as well. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Drop me your predictions for episode 7 down below, and of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.